This case has never been about race, nor has it ever been about the right to bear arms, not in the sense of proving this as a criminal case. What we always believed was that this was a case of details that had to be analyzed very, very carefully. I never could quite understand people, even people with law degrees, who had not read all of the police reports, who had not read all of the witness statements, yet who came up with opinions one way or the other. And this team of people standing with me, who stand with me every day in the Fourth Circuit and try tough cases like this all the time, knew that we had to do the best to get the entire facts and details of this case out and before a jury.
Well, some critics say Corey sounded like she was accepting an Academy Award instead of talking about a case her team lost. I want to bring in CNN legal analyst and defense attorney Mark NeJame and CNN's Martin Savage with me here in Florida. So I have to be quite honest and ask you your reaction. I was sitting here with Martin and with Sonny last night, and I said, why is she smiling? What's your reaction?
I wouldn't call that a smile. I would call that something that was painted on a face to look like a smile. To me, it was insincere. And if anybody does any research into this Duval County State Attorney's Office, they will see the, in my opinion, deplorable prosecution of those who don't need to be prosecuted the way that she does. So this is such an anomaly to listen to her and to see her. She should have never, ever brought a second-degree murder charge. Manslaughter, different story.
Is there some personal agenda or career
with her
agenda here?
Well, I think that we're going to eventually follow the breadcrumbs. How she specifically came to be appointed in this case. Remember, Norm Wolfinger, who was in that building for many, many years, never, to my knowledge, in decades, had any claims against him for racial prejudice or bigotry as a state attorney. And then, mysteriously, he signs a recusal letter saying he's off the case with no reason given. And then all of a sudden we have Angela Curry there, the governor's chief of staff, as I understand it, came from Jacksonville, the place where she comes, and so it looks like a special appointment was made, and it was brought for whatever political pressures might have come to bear. To me, that's scary. Now, there's legitimate issues about the manslaughter. No ifs, ands, or buts. The jury's considered it, and we move from there. At least we have a discussion from there. But second-degree murder, in my opinion, by bringing that overcharge, helped the defense get an acquittal.
Yeah.
And if there's any faces to be looked at for blame, it's the face and it's the office of Angela Curry and the governor's office for allowing this to be so extreme and to get people's hopes up when almost everybody who's looked at this case, knows the facts and otherwise, knows that second-degree murder was such a stretch that it really, really compromised their case.
And Martin and I are looking at each other and probably thinking the same thing. You said a lot here, so we invite Angela Curry and anyone from the governor's office and anyone involved in that courtroom back here to come here and give a response to this. That's not our report.
I'd be happy to.
Yes, we would
It's a legal analyst. This is my opinion. This is my opinion from being a criminal defense lawyer in this area for a long time.
Yeah. What's your reaction? What are people saying about her performance last night?
Well, Mark O'Mara, I talked to him at length, and he says, look, I asked him specifically how much did politics play into this case. And you could tell he just about said it had everything to do with this case.
Right.
What's interesting about this prosecution team is that normally prosecutors and defense attorneys within an area know one another because they've run across one another in previous cases, previous instances. These two had not crossed paths before that I'm aware of. So that's one of the reasons why you had this very different and at times what seemed to be a fronting kind of relationship between the prosecution and between the defense team. Angela Curry, remember, this was, I believe, the news conference when she announced the charges. Many people thought that was hugely dramatic. I mean, she shows up, she's well-dressed, she presents and delivers this kind of a speech before she gets to what she's there for, the charges that are against her.
Is this three guys sitting out here? Are we being sexist here? I mean, I've heard other people say it. I don't want it to come off as that, but it appeared to be sort of a kind of like a beauty pageant sort of answer, like, how will you cure the
Well, I think the point to be made is that there was a lot of pressure that was brought to bear on this team of prosecutors. We've already pointed out that they were appointed specifically. She was named by the governor of the state of Florida. So right then and there, that she is placed right up front and in the spotlight. Her team had a difficult challenge, I think anyone would say, based upon the evidence that was seen. They worked very hard. They tried their best, but it did not work. Whether we get into the issue of ethics and there were violations there, that's going to still have to be decided.
But Don, let me say, we still never got an answer as to why did Mr. Wolfinger, the state attorney of this circuit, step down? There is no reason given. So why does a prosecutor who's been handling cases for 10, 20 years, with no question about bigotry or prejudice or anything, not even a suggestion raised, step down?
You practice law here. This is your community.
Oh, I've been against this office forever. Thank you.
So why?
Why? Well, I leave it out there for the questions to be asked. You know, we never got an answer from anybody.
Yeah.
Why simply the people who came in, why don't they tell us? They were surely anything but incompetent. We fought them tooth and nails for years.
Yeah.
And when, if this was going to be truly, as it was represented to the public, a fair and unbiased investigation to determine which charges could be brought, when do we ever hear of a prosecutor saying before they're making that investigation, they meet with the family and they prayed with them holding hands the night before?
Yeah.
Now, I think that's a nice thing to do. But if you're truly here as an unbiased prosecutor and you're not here with some sort of agenda, why are you doing that? You do that after you've made your unbiased decision. But then the next day or so, charges were announced. I'm concerned. I think that a manslaughter investigation, I totally get that. I totally understand it. And I think that was totally appropriate. But to get the public's hopes up for something that was unattainable, and now to have all of this backlash coming, no, consequences of actions. And these are consequences, in my opinion, of an overcharge.
And
got it run.
to get to your point, but that's why we would love to talk to this prosecution team to share this and to bring out both sides.
You read my mind. Yes. That's how it's going to
end it.
May I be here too?
Yes.
Thank you.
We ample opportunity. You can come on at any time and talk about this. So thanks to both of you. We appreciate it.